Hello friends. This is the Go-To Lunge practice nugget. So if you like using blocks for your hands, grab them. If you like a blanket for underneath your knee, grab that. Not necessary, but they provide a little extra support. So let's come on to our mat in a child's form or something like that. So your hips could be a little high, your hands forwards, or maybe your hips sink back to your heels, your hands come back, your elbows wide. And we begin the practice with listening, with landing, taking this moment for yourself to attend to your needs. Your needs matter. Your breath. Let's walk it forwards to our hands, tuck our toes, come back to down dog, pedal it out. Feet together at the back of your mat, right leg up into a three-legged dog. Bend your knees, circle your hip. 1, 2, 3. Switch directions for 1, 2, 3. Maybe straighten your leg and circle for 1, 2, 3. Switch directions for 1. Strong arms, 2, 3, bend your knee to your nose, your shoulders over your wrists. Come forwards with your foot into a long lunge. Left foot back, left knee to the floor. You can pad your knee if you want. Go forwards and back a couple of times. That's where your blocks might come in handy. For 1, for 2, and for 3. Let's come on back, hips over the back knee, and roll the back knee in or move it in so that your hips are directly above it, and you can come up to a 90-90 lunge. So both legs making about a 90 degree, and take your arms up. Notice if your rib basket is forwards or back, try to center it out. I think about it's like a lampshade, and the light is shining directly down to the center of my pelvic floor. Take a breath. You can engage your back left glute forwards a little bit and down to open your left hip flexor. Good, let's interlock our hands, take them forwards, and we're gonna round our spine, kind of tuck the tailbone under, press our hands forwards, round. If it feels balancing, you can take your hands to your knee. Take a breath there. I'm gonna sink my right hip. I can see that it's jacking up a little bit. Open low back, get into the top of the psoas. Release that out. You can take your arms back up. Sink your hands down to the blocks or to the floor, and you can walk that back knee back a little so it's a bit longer than the 90-90. Untuck your back set of toes, and then whether you're on a block or not, fall into your left hand and take your right hand onto your right knee. So you're turning to me, and turn onto the outer edge a little, if that's okay for your knee, outer edge of your left knee. So you're kind of rolling that outer hip down, and your pelvis is gonna slant down to the left. Yeah, now some of you might come down onto your diagonal forearm there, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna round, tuck our tail and round somersault forwards, and see what happens there in our left hip flexor, low back. It might feel right to make a big movement and catch your back foot. That movement's not for everybody. If you do catch, go back into a round. You can also do that movement with your hips a little back. Might be a bit more interesting for some of you there. All right, let's roll out of that. We're gonna step back into our down dog, pedal out our feet. Left leg up into the sky. Bend the knee, circle your hip for 1, for 2, for 3. Switch directions for 1. Strong arms for 2. For 3, you can open up your leg if you want. Make big circles with a straighter leg for 1, for 2. For 3, switch directions for 1, for 2. Unsticking for 3. Knee to nose, shoulders over your wrist, left foot forwards. You can blanket your back right knee. Let's go forwards and back. Feel free to use your blocks there. For 1. With your breath, make it yours for 2. For 3. Come on forwards. We're going to bring our back knee in, bring our front foot back a little so that we can come up into that 90-90 and take our arms up. Again, watch the placement of your rib basket. Is it tipped forwards, pulled back? Can you find that light of your heart shining right down on your pelvic floor? Maybe take your arms a little behind your ears. Then we're gonna interlock. Do the weird knuckle on top, the way you don't usually do it, and round forwards. Tuck your tail. Open up your back set of ribs. Go into a huge kind of slumping pattern. That feels good. Lower your left hip if you need to. Strengthen your right glute. You can put your hands on your knee if you feel balancy, or work with all those little calibrations to keep you into center. Okay, you can release that. Lift up, hands to the earth, and walk that back knee back, the front foot forwards. Untuck your back set of toes. So you're in a longer lunge. Whether you're on a block or not, fall into your right hand, left hand on your knee. Start to turn and start to roll, if it feels okay, on your knee to the outer edge of your knee, to the outer part of the pinky toe side of your foot. Some of you might feel like lowering onto your forearm there. Wherever you are, round. Tuck your tail. Open up your back ribs. For some of you, might feel good to open up and hold that back foot for an extra quadricep stretch. If you're doing that, you can also play with rounding. You can also play with having your hips a little over your back knee. And we'll release that out. Step back to your downward facing dog. Feet together. Push yourself into a plank. You can take your knees down or not. Wide collarbones and shoulder blades, elbows in. Lower and lift for 5. For 4. Keep your core centered. For 3. For 2. Strong glutes. And for 1. Come up, lift your hips back into down dog. If you want to here, you can bend your knees and melt your chest towards your knees, towards the floor. Maybe your head touches the floor. Round it forwards, take your knees to the floor. Find your child. So it could be hips a little higher, hips towards your heels. And come back to landing, your breath a little softer, a little smoother. Letting yourself find some ease. Thanking yourself for taking this time, because your needs matter. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Peace. Shanti.